Hi, my name is Frida and I'm a facilitator. The reason I'm doing this clip is during last week, I worked with many senior leaders and people who are leading transformations in their organizations. And after we share our experiences, I always share with people, I think the most critical part to accelerate the change to speed up the transformation in organizations is all about leadership culture. So I had many discussions last week, and the conclusions from all conversations are they all wish what I share with them can also be shared with their CEOs. And I probably can travel everywhere to talk to other CEOs, and this is why I'm trying to capture what I think about speeding up the change and transformation in the debrief here. And many organizations now are talking about agility. I think probably you are one of them too. And I think for me, in short, why we want agility is because we are all trying to respond to the VUCA world as best as we can. And many people, and I think recently many organizations, they also like to hire people with agility mindset, trying to speed up the organizations to become more agile. Because leading the whole organizations to shift to be more agile may not be easy. So just like this, the cute little man on the top, usually people or CEOs are hired to speed up the change in the organization. And usually they don't feel it's an easy job, because all of our organizations are designed with hierarchies, trying to make it efficient and trying to make the processes stable so we can manage by all the KPIs, we can have the controls in how our organizations can grow. So having hierarchy system is not a mistake, but the key of being in agile world is you're hoping people in all layers, they don't wait for the top to tell them what to do. So you're hoping in any corners of your organizations that everyone in the company, they can also think about what's the best for the company and what they can do to speed up, to innovate, so the whole organization can respond to the market more quickly and respond to the market so they can stay competitive. But usually people, especially CEOs or VPs on the top, are having pressure or difficulty in having the existing hierarchical systems to operate this way. I'll show you an example. Probably, let's take an example here. Let's say you have your product research and product production department. And usually they want to perform as well. And you have sales and marketing department, they're supposed to work together. So they create the best product and they try to deliver to the market in time. And usually, this is how they usually feel. Like, where's my marker? Okay. When they work together, usually they feel like this way. Why? Because by the nature of your research or production, they want to keep things under control. They want to perform And because sales and marketing, they want to be faster, respond to the market. So recently, a lot of KPIs are shifted into measuring not just on-time delivery, but time to market. This sounds like a good KPI responding to the VUCA world. And also, but why are they still in conflict? Because what sales and marketing they want other than on-time delivery, they also want to respond to the VUCA world. So usually it probably takes 1 or 2 year or even 3-year product cycle to have the product launch in the market. But within the 1 to 3 years, all the requests or what the market has shifted already. So outside of on-time delivery request, they also want to sell the product that the market or the customers want and need. They cannot afford to wait for another 2 to 3 years to adapt the products because the market is gone already. But for them, what's their job nature? They want to make sure they can deliver on time. So they don't welcome any spec change. So usually they're in conflicts. I want to deliver on time. I want to give you the product you asked for before. But don't change the product request. Don't change the product spec. But for them to do their job well, they really want them to adapt to the market in time with them so the whole company can stay competitive. So usually they are in conflict like this, and sometimes it gets stuck there years or forever, hard to change, and eventually your middle managers or employees don't have any faith that the company can become agile anymore. For me, this is my story. The story, it has to do with your dominant paradigm or mindset, your dominant culture in your current company. So if you heard about this book, I highly recommend this book. This is very easy to read. You will have a very practical framework to perceive your dominant culture in your organization. So, for example, if your current dominant culture is red operate mainly based on power, authority. So if your dominant culture is this, usually when the two departments are in conflict, and this is where they are, they tend to stuck. And who wins? Whoever has the higher power or authority, they win the conflict. And actually, even though you win the conflict, probably is not the best for the company because they're still, probably whoever wins with their current KPI may not be the best or ultimate KPI for the company. And there's another major culture, it's called amber, color of amber. So if your current culture is amber looks for control through processes or your guidelines or policies, trying to keep everything stable. So the whole system, you can have better control to make sure your organization is efficient. So if this is your dominant culture, people don't look for change at all. They want to be stable. So in such kind of conflict, it will be they will work hard just to fight for not changing anything because they want to deliver their own KPI. And also the other side is, probably with their frustration, they will think that you will need more KPIs so you can be under control to help us to sell products so we can have product on time. And there's the next color is called orange. They perceive competition, growth, competition, productivity as their dominant mindset. So only when you get to orange culture that people can start to think about growth, profit, and also how to make sure you can scale up your growth and profit. We'll start to look into the energy will be spent in finding different ways to make things work, which is building your competition to win over the market. And the next evolution is called green color. Green color is more driven by the values, and in green culture, you start to all the stakeholders become important. So here the key is the engagement will be the main driver. So if you have the green culture in place, then even though when two departments are in such kind of traditional conflicts, and probably people in the conflict, they will start to think about, so what's in it for us? What are the key or final values that we're delivering? So with this conflict, actually they don't have to conflict with each other. If they see the final values are for our company to create the best products and also stay with the leading positions in the industry. So if they have the speed fast to the market and sell what the customer is asking for, if for them they do see that final ultimate goals, they may see different ways to adapt their KPIs. So the people in different departments, they also feel engaged. They also feel that their own personal values are honored too. So they don't spend most of their energy in fighting for each other for not changing at all. So this is, for me, this is why the dominant culture in the organization affects the speed of your transformation in your company. So I think if you want, I don't think it's real that all the organizations can get out of all the hierarchical system. I just don't think it's so simple. So probably the best scenario is within your current hierarchical system, how can you unleash your people's energy so they can feel they can be engaged at all levels to operate like this. And working with many agile organizations and all the clients, they have taught me to do so, probably there will be some values that will be helpful. I think number one is about mission focus. So which means people don't work for KPI only. So if you want the whole system to flow at the speed of agility, respond to the VUCA world, people are making business decisions all the time, every day, and you're hoping whatever decisions they're making at all levels, they're aligning with the mission, the company mission. I think that's about why. Who do we want to be and why are we here in the market? So all your innovation or your change is driven by trying to become who we want to be and to deliver our core values to the market, to the clients, even to the employees. So that all the energy is not only bounded for KPIs only. And to do that, also how we align ourselves is also important. So how can you make your whole system, everyone when they're making their daily business decisions, they are based on the real time of now, not the KPI set last year, with our intended result. So all the decisions made in the company, it's all between what we can see now and also align to where we're going. Not only bounded for my own bonus or KPIs only. So you want to do this? Probably and also to help people to start to operate this way, you also need all employees to feel they have the freedom to do it. So, but in the hierarchical system, as a manager, you also have responsibility of your management role, right? So between all the discipline, all the policies, and all the compliance, how do you make the best choices between the tension of the disciplines and autonomy? So you can free up the space for everyone to feel they can operate this way based on what they see, the real-time learning of the current world, and moving towards to who you are, who you want to become, and where you're going. And also, you want people to be able to self-organize instead of only waiting for the top managers to tell them what to do. Actually, in my experiences, many of the middle levels, they do have the passion and they do have the energy to change things. But if you have the culture that most people, they want to keep things stable instead of innovate, then you will see most people, they're idle. They talk about things, but they think all the changes, whatever the company needs, that's the job of all the CEOs or senior management. So you don't see any of this kind of operational energy happens in the organization. And if you want the whole organization to do all this, then you also need the culture of everybody see how they learn differently. Learning doesn't happen in the training room only. Actually, learning needs to happen in every moment, every day in your organization. So in short, is the iceberg. People usually, in all of your routine meeting or reflection meeting, people tend to check on the progress of the result. But if you're not getting the result you're getting, people tend to talk about the processes or how we can do things differently to get the result we want. But usually, I've seen these patterns happen a lot in many organizations. In such kind of meeting, people start to try very hard to do same old things, just harder. But probably you will guarantee not to get a better result if you keep doing the same thing over and over, right? So the key in agile culture, what do you learn? You don't just learn things around performance or around teamwork or around how we design our processes. The key is this is all determined by how we think. Our mindset, our assumptions, and our being. Why have we been doing things this way for so long? Why do we think all this cannot be challenged? Why do we think keep doing the same thing over and over is good for the company? So if the deeper assumptions are not revealed, probably it will be very hard to break out of the box to innovate, to get a better result. So if you want your organization to operate this way, to flow, to have the agility to respond to the whole world, you probably need people start to be able to see every event or every experiences as a key learning, but they also need to learn how to think deeper individually and collectively so they can challenge their assumptions of critical decisions at the same time, not keep doing the same thing over and over. And to do this, you want to see all this happening. You want your employees to feel they have the freedom to be who they are, to create the values they want to see, to care for what's needed. So they need to feel that they have the freedom and they're safe to engage in doing what's the best for company and for them anytime when they see any opportunity. And also, if you want to see your organization to act like this, you also need everyone to feel safe. If they see things that can be better, they feel that freedom and the safety to talk to any layers or any departments of the company for better solution. Because also, if all your people start to do this, if your culture, if your main leadership culture is still around red or amber, how would those red or amber managers feel? They probably feel threatened or pretty scared if all the employees are getting out of the control or out of the authority to do things on their own. So in such culture, probably many managers will start to feel vulnerable. But vulnerable is also critical in your culture. So you emphasize on learning instead of being right or being wrong. You don't emphasize on being under control. If your dominant culture is still around here, it will be really hard to perceive organizations to work like this, to flow like this, to be self-organized. And you will be far away from the speed and the flow you want to see from agile mindset, right? So to have all this ready, for me, it's all about your culture. And I believe your I believe the definition of leadership is about your influence and is coming from your choice, not position power. So if all the leaders at all levels, if you don't influence the whole system with all these key values, it will be hard for your organizations to flow, to innovate, to respond to the VUCA world right now. So if you work really hard, if you're eager for any transformation to help your whole company to break through, to get a better outcome, check on your dominant culture right now. If you have amber culture now, your people, they will work, they will fight for not changing, not flow, not to get outside of the norm, because they will probably get shot if they get outside of the control. And if your dominant culture is orange, probably people work for innovation sounds good here, but probably not thinking about, probably the main focus is about productivity, or if you can scale up of what's working, the best practice. And only if you move to the green dominant culture, you will have a higher chance to become more comprehensively, so your whole system can flow better. And the next layer of all this culture, if you like, you can read this book. It's called Teal, and we can talk about Teal next time. But what I want to share with you here is I'm hoping to share with all the CEOs or all the senior management. I know many of you are under huge pressure of breaking through your business outcome. But if you feel the gap of the speed of the transformation of the organization, probably it's not about you don't have good business strategy. It's probably because you don't have the adequate dominant culture in the company. If you start with emperor culture, it will be hard for you to lead any change or transformation, because everyone in the company is looking for stability, which is not changing at all. So I think probably the key leverage for you to speed up or to transform right now is to make sure your dominant culture now supports all the self-organization and supports the flow that you want to see in leading the change in the market.